Today, parenting often looks like managing a complex schedule. There are GPS trackers for safety, a steady stream of alerts for tuition and sports, and a constant effort to provide verbal encouragement at every turn. But a few decades ago, the childhood baseline looked very different. 6-year-olds walked to school entirely on their own. Needing a tutor was seen as a social embarrassment, and many children grew up without ever hearing their parents say the words, "I love you." By the standards of today's hyper-attentive environment, that world can seem almost neglectful. Yet, this is the paradox. An era with almost no adult oversight, minimal academic pressure, and very little emotional coaching produced a generation of adults who look back and insist they truly lived. This independence started with geographic autonomy. Without school buses or parental drop-offs, young children had to navigate the public world by themselves, learning the layout of their town through trial and error. The bicycle was the primary tool for this exploration. It was common to see 2 or even 3 kids balanced on a single bike, riding through local alleys and neighborhoods without any adult supervision. This was possible because of a specific mindset among parents, a complete absence of fear regarding their children's physical safety in the neighborhood. This wasn't a lack of care, but a massive, unspoken transfer of trust. By stepping back, parents gave their children the responsibility of looking after themselves. This daily physical independence did more than just get them to school. It forced them to solve their own problems in real time, providing an early foundation for self-reliance. In this era, academic success wasn't measured in complex percentiles or rankings. Most students only understood a simple binary: you either passed or you failed. Because of this, there was a heavy stigma against extra tuition classes. Needing outside help wasn't seen as a way to get ahead. It was viewed as a sign of weakness that most kids were ashamed to admit. Without the pressure to optimize every grade, students turned to magical thinking. There was a common belief that keeping a specific leaf or a peacock feather inside a textbook would somehow make you more intelligent. School supplies were treated with a sense of ritual. Wrapping new books in paper covers was a yearly celebration, and no one felt any shame in using secondhand books passed down from older students. By removing the constant comparison of percentages, learning was able to exist as a low-stakes part of daily life, rather than a source of constant intellectual anxiety. The hierarchy of the classroom was also rarely questioned. Physical punishments, like being made to stand or hold your own ears, were accepted as part of the day, occurring before many of these children even knew what the word ego meant. The source material describes a pragmatic outlook. A student might simply be glad today's punishment was lighter than yesterday's, while the teacher felt they had done their duty. It was a cycle that typically ended as soon as the lesson was over. This low-pressure environment extended to money and food. Most children received no pocket money, meaning the threshold for a treat was very low. A basic lunch of flatbread and vegetables or a rare handful of puffed rice was enough to cause genuine excitement. Scarcity forced a different kind of focus. During Diwali, a child would dismantle a single string of firecrackers to light them one by one, making a small resource last for hours of play. Play was almost entirely unstructured. Groups of kids played street cricket barefoot, using makeshift wooden bats and whatever ball they could find, for as long as the daylight lasted. When material expectations and social status are set very low, the threshold for happiness changes. In this world, a child's capacity for joy wasn't tied to what they owned, but to the amount of freedom they were given. This brings us back to why that generation rarely heard their parents say, "I love you." It wasn't that the love was missing, it was that the vocabulary wasn't required. In that era, love was structural. It was expressed through the shared, unburdened reality of daily life, rather than spoken for validation. Today, many feel paralyzed by the need to achieve specific dreams or live up to constant comparisons, but the children of that generation tended to dream without blaming feet when things went wrong. This era suggests that childhood doesn't need to be hyper-optimized to be successful. Often, the best way to help a child truly live is simply to step back, lower the pressure, and give them the space to figure it out for themselves.